I want to say all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kodash, double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to the Akim out there who are pushing this word in all sincerity and all truth. Right? And if I forgot to say double honors to them, to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Right, this lesson, is gonna be focused on something that happened last night, I believe, yesterday, or within the past couple of days. The House of Representatives in the United States overwhelmingly passes anti-bigotry resolution, and that bill, or that legislation, that resolution was passed in response to something that this congresswoman, this Muslim congresswoman by the name of I think her name is Ilhan Omar, right? What she said, based on America's dealings with the nation of Israel, or with the state of Israel, I should say, the state of Israel. All right, so I'm just gonna play the clip, and then we'll get into a couple of articles. And Lord willing, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakah Kodash, this lesson will be edifying. All right, so here we go.
In Thursday's red and blue political roundup, the House overwhelmingly approved a resolution condemning bigotry and hate. The vote comes after Congresswoman Ilhan Omar fell under scrutiny for making controversial remarks widely seen as anti-Semitic. The measure does not mention Omar by name. Thursday's vote took place after an initial draft was amended to be more broad. The final version condemns anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim bias equally. During the vote, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said, quote, "All elements of our society are facing acts of hatred," and added this from the House floor.
It is in the spirit of unity and solidarity with my colleagues as we come together in this chamber of our American democracy to condemn all forms of hatred, racism, prejudice, and discrimination with a hopefully single and strong voice.
All right, so I'll leave a link, in the description so brothers can take a look at it, right? But pretty much the resolution, is against, as you heard it, all hate speech, pretty much, which we, as Hebrew Israelites fall under that, because what we preach is defined by society and by legislation as hate speech, and would also be defined as anti-Semitic, right? Which we are against the so-called Jews, who are over there occupying the land of Israel right now. They are not the real Jews. They did not, undergo any what they call Holocaust, right? And they are not the people of the Most High, right? They are a bunch of devils, down there celebrating one of the biggest gay parades in the world in Tel Aviv every year, every summer. Right, so we are an anti-Semite according to their definition, which is even a dumb definition, right? Because a lot of people are Shemitic, right? Not only are the Jews Shemitic, but other people are Shemitic. But anyways, let's get into some of the comments. I'm pretty much gonna analyze this resolution under two different microscopes. The first is, the U.S. is unlawful, and biased support of the Jewish state over there, and also the fact that this resolution is going to put more pressure on brothers who are out there pushing this truth, right? As we see, happen from the situation with the Covington schools, right? Where I think it was HOI that was there with them, at the protest rally. Right, and a lot of bad press or bad publicity, and slander was started against the reignited, against the Hebrew Israelite community. But this also will bring more pressure, on us, because we are promoting bigotry according to their definition, which we're gonna get the definition, to see what it is when we get to that part of the lesson. But let's take a look at some of the comments, to see what people are saying, in response to this resolution that was passed, based on what the congresswoman said. So it says the House came together to punish a black woman for telling the truth, right? There we go, right? It says the only thing this whole fiasco proved was how right Ilhan Omar was. not widely seen as anti-Semitic, anti-illegal, genocidal warfare Queen Israel. This bill takes away our freedom of speech and Bill of Rights. It is illegal against the Constitution. Criticizing Israel is not anti-Semitic. Let me see, there's another one I wanted to bring out. It says Israel is a nation state run by far-right hardliners. Jewish people are not the Israeli government. To criticize the government is not criticizing the people. Even Jews condemn the Israeli government for its apartheid regime. The whole point of Ilhan Omar's comment was in response to US states forcing people to sign a pledge of allegiance to Israel, as well as Israel's apartheid, the US refusal to condemn the Israeli government action. She said nor implied nothing about the people or Jews on a whole. This is a farce by establishment Democrats no better than the right wing, right? So let's get into what the Congresswoman actually said. And this is from NPR website, and it was posted yesterday, I believe. Yesterday. It says Minnesota Congresswoman ignites debate on Israel and anti-Semitism. On Thursday, the House passed a resolution to condemn anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, and other forms of bigotry. If we look up that word bigotry, it says intolerance towards those who hold different opinions from oneself, which we would be defined as bigots, right? Because we're biased, towards our people, towards the nation of Israel. We are partial. We are for sectarianism, which is separateness. It says in an effort to tamp down the uproar over Minnesota Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar's criticism of Israel. The controversy has split the Democratic Party and clouded their agenda. The resolution does not mention Omar by name, but appears targeted at her recent remarks and their fallout. This is the second time the House voted on a resolution denouncing hate speech following controversial comments by Omar that lawmakers said played into anti-Semitic tropes, although she was not named in either measure. Right? Let's see what started the controversy. In February, Omar responded to a tweet from journalist Glenn Greenwald, who posted about House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy threatening to punish Omar and another congresswoman for being critical of Israel. Omar wrote back, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby." Right? A line about $100 bills from a Puff Daddy song. Critics jumped on the tweet and said Omar was calling up a negative and harmful stereotype of Jewish Americans, which that's not what she's doing, She was exposing the fact that the American government is funding the Jewish state by billions every year, Right? That's what she was exposing, It was not having to do with anything against the so-called Jewish people, which we as Hebrew Israelites are against the so-called Jewish people any fucking way. But that's not what she was bringing out, In another tweet soon after, Omar named the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, or the AIPAC, saying it was funding Republican support for Israel, right? And here it is. So she apologized, but she held on to her criticism of AIPAC's lobbying. So it says anti-Semitism is real, right? Which we are, as again we're going to affirm it. We are so-called anti-Semite, right? Because we're against those gutterers down there living in Egypt, right? Anti-Semitism is real, and I'm grateful for Jewish allies and colleagues who are educating me on the painful history of anti-Semitic tropes. My intention is never to offend my constituents or Jewish Americans as a whole. We have always been willing to step back and think through criticism, just as I expect people to hear me when others attack me for my identity. This is why I unequivocally apologize. At the same time, I reaffirm the problematic role of lobbyists in our politics. Whether it be AIPAC or the NRA or fossil fuel industry, it's gone on too long. We must be willing to address it, right? So it says, I want to talk about the political influence in this country that says it's okay for people to put allegiance to a foreign country, which she was referring to Israel, the Jewish state, right? I want to ask, why is it okay for me to talk about the influence of the NRA or fossil fuel industries or big pharma and not talk about a powerful lobbying group that is influencing policies? Why? Because so-called Jews run this world, You can't talk about them without getting some sort of backlash, especially as a Jake, right? Especially as a Jake, So now they pass this bill, condemning anti-Semitism, but to not let it look so one-sided, right? They included other all forms of bigotry, yo. This is from the Washington Post, and it was posted also yesterday. The latest House passes resolution condemning bigotry, and the point I want to bring out here is in this paragraph here. It says some lawmakers wanted Omar implicitly rebuked with a measure condemning anti-Semitism, but others said the resolution should condemn discrimination against Muslims too. So initially, they just wanted to pass a resolution condemning anti-Semitism, meaning condemning hate speech or any speech against the Jewish state and Jewish people on a whole, yo, right? But realizing that would be one-sided and biased, they passed a resolution condemning all hate speech against Muslims and pretty much what we speak in the highways and the byways, yo, right? So this legislation is also against us, yo, right? But more importantly, what I want to bring out right now at this part of the lesson, right, is that it's about protecting the U.S.-Israeli relationship, yo. Right? Let's get into some definitions here. This is anti-Semitism. It says the hostility to, prejudice, or discrimination against Jews, which are referring to the so-called Jews that are over there in the Middle East, yo. Right? And the word Semite is actually from Semitic people, right? But Semitic people are also Edomites, yo, right? Edomites are Semitic, right? Moabites are Semitic. Ammonites are Semitic, right? So that means that if you're against Asians, we should call them Asians. If you're against Chinese or Japanese, you're anti-Semite, right? If you're against Hebrew Israelites, you're anti-Semite. But they want to focus on the gutter rats over there, the so-called Jewish people, right? Let's get into some precepts. This is Revelation 2:9. It says, let me start from verse 8. And unto the angel of the church of Smyrna write, these things say the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Now, when this precept was written, right, back in the 1st century AD, right, or 2nd century AD, when John the Revelator was writing it, right, the Yahushua was speaking about a church in Smyrna, which is modern day Izmir, a city on Turkey's Aegean coast, which is right here, right? So this is the city right here, Izmir, that was called Smyrna. And if you zoom out on the map, you realize where it is in relation to Israel. Right, so this is Israel right here, right? So we had a church, the Israelite community had a church over here, right, in Smyrna, right? And there were people, Israelites, among them, right, who were pretty much not believing in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They didn't believe in Yahushai, right? And they were following Greek customs, yo, right? So it was originally meant it was originally targeted, at actual Israelites who were being demons, pretty much. But we can apply it, to the so-called Jews today who are illegally occupying the land of Israel, who got the so-called right to occupy that land from the Balfour Declaration, right, which was passed in, I believe it's 1948, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Right, where the Balfour Declaration was passed by I think it was the British government. Let me just look it up just to Balfour Declaration just to make sure. Alright, so the Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917, Salakia, not 1948, 1917, right? During World War I, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, then an Ottoman region within a small minority Jewish population, and the authors were, here we have it, Walter Rothschild and Arthur Balfour, right? So these men, right, perpetrated this theft, yo, right? Talking about an establishment for the national home for the Jewish people, which these people are not Jews, yo, right? They are not the real Jews, right? And they do not fit the prophecies, yo, which we go and get into, yo. They do not fit the prophecies, right? Because the prophecy said that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to lead us back into the land, yo, when we become when we start to dwell in the land again, yo, right? It wasn't by no, it wasn't going to be by no declaration of man's laws, yo, that we going to get by the land, yo. It's by the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, yo, right? This is Zechariah chapter 9 verse 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. Right, the bastards that's dwelling there in Ashdod right now, and this is Ashdod, right, and it's a coastal city. It's a coastal city in Israel, right there, right. Tel Aviv, right there, is where they keep the biggest gay parade, you know, every summer, right? That gay pride parade. But this is Ashdod right here, and it says a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. So the bastards that down there are dwelling in Ashdod are those so-called Gotaras, yo, those Jews, yo, those so-called Jews, those Jewish people, right, who are not the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, yo, right? They are Jacob's twin brother, Esau, yo, specifically of the house of Amalek, right? The chief house of Amalek, which is a grandson of Esau, yo. Right? So these are the bastards that are down there dwelling in Israel right now. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed. One of those unrighteous decrees was what? Was the Balfour Declaration, yo. Another unrighteous decree was the decrees that they passed yesterday or day before yesterday, yo. The resolution condemning anti-Semitism, yo, condemning the words of the congresswoman who was pointing out that pretty much a lot of the politics that goes on in the U.S., a lot of the foreign policy that's a part of the U.S. foreign policy is directed by so-called Jewish men, yo. That's what she was exposing, yo. That a lot of the funding for U.S. politics either comes from the Jewish state, right, or so-called Jewish Americans, right, and that a lot of money from the US goes to the Israel state, yo, to fund their government, yo. Right? This is Zephaniah chapter. This precept shows how we will be delivered, yo. Right? This is Zephaniah chapter 3, and I'll start from verse 16. It says, In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, Fear not, and to Zion, let not thine hands be slack. The Lord thy power in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save, he will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time will I undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that altered, and gather her that was driven out, and I will give them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. Have the so-called Jewish people gotten praise and fame? Right? Have they been put to shame in any land, yo? We are the people, the so-called blacks, Latinas, Native American Indians. We are the people who have been put to shame in every land, yo. Right? So we are the people who are going to get praise and shame when the Lord gathers us, yo. Right? And I will bring you again even the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all the people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. The Jewish people have never been made a name and a praise among all the people of the earth, yo. So how can they be the people of the Most High, yo? The Lord himself did not gather them, yo. Like he said he was gonna gather us out of the modern day Egypt, yo. This is Ezekiel chapter 36 verse 24. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all the countries and bring you into your own land. And if you continue reading it, you know, let me just go to it specifically. Why is this thing not loaded? Here we go. Right, it said, then will I, verse 25, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, from all your idols will I cleanse you. Right? So the Lord said, after he has collected us, has gathered us from among the heathen and bring us into our own land, we will no more be filthy, right? We will no more be filthy. Are the Jewish people not still filthy? Right, let's look at one of the big examples of filth right now, down there, yo. Gay Pride Parade in Tel Aviv. Alright, let's show you their filth, yo. Here's it, yo. So in 2019, it's gonna start on the 9th of June and end on the 14th of June, and it's an annual thing, yo. Tel Aviv Pride is an annual week-long series of events in Tel Aviv, right? The so-called capital, or one of the capital cities of Israel, the state of Israel down there right now, that celebrate Israel's LGBT community life schedules during the week of June as part of the international observation of Gay Pride Month. One of the events is the Tel Aviv Gay Pride March. Right, and there are more than 250,000 participants in 2018, yo. Right, but what saith the laws against this, yo? What saith the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai against this, yo? Leviticus 20 and verse 13. Since they are so-called Jews, since they are Israelites, these laws were given to the Israelites, yo. Let's see what it says. Leviticus 20 verse 13, if a man also shall lie with mankind as he layeth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. What does that word abomination mean? A thing that causes disgust or loathing. Right? Disgrace, obscenity, outrage, curse, torment, evil, a crime. Right? Both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So they shouldn't be celebrated, yo. They should be put to death, right? So that means that the nation, the people that are down there now, living in Israel, right, cannot be the people of the Most High, because the Lord said when He delivers us into the land, we will no more be filthy, yo. Right? We will no more be filthy. A new heart will I give you, a new spirit will I put within you, and take away a stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you, and I will cause you to walk in my statutes, and you shall keep my judgments and do them. Right? A part of the statutes we just read, Leviticus 20 and 13. If a man also lie with mankind and is lie with a woman, both of them are committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. That's a part of the laws, statutes, and judgments that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said that we will walk in when we are in the land, yo. So obviously, these men are not the people of the Most High, yo. These men are not the Israelites, yo. Because they are in the land, right? By a declaration of man, a legislation passed by man, by evil men at that, right? So the Lord Himself did not put them there, which the prophecy said that the Lord will gather us. And secondly, they have not been cleansed from all their filthiness. They are not keeping the statutes and the judgments, right, that the Israelites should be keeping, yo. So they cannot be the people of the Most High, yo. They cannot. Right? Now, this legislation, the second thing that I want to bring out, or that I want to focus on, this legislation, you know, as the House Speaker explained it, you know, this bitch here, Nancy Pelosi, said that it condemns all hate speech, yo. Right? And what we teach is labeled as hate speech. Hebrew Israelite hate speech. Right? So they label us as a hate group. This is from Cincinnati.com, the Inquirer. Let me see when it was posted. January 21. In a statement released Sunday to the media, Covington Catholic High School junior Nick Sandman, who was shown over the weekend standing face to face with an indigenous man in Washington, D.C., said the standoff took place after 4 African American protesters said hateful things to Sandman. They call us racist, bigots, white crackers, faggots, and incest kids. They also taunted an African American student from my school, telling him that we would harvest his organs. right? So this is pretty much, you know, a way to brandish or to broad brush all Hebrew Israelite communities, right, as what? As extremists is the word, yo. Right, as extremists, anti-Semite, so that we're bigots, right? You know, we're a hate group. So it said this sect is obsessed with hatred for whites and Jews, so that we're anti-Semites, yo. Right? So that means that this law, this resolution that was passed, you know, against other bigotry, against condemning anti-Semitism, against Muslims, which you know, Islam is another fairy tale, anyways, and our bigotry, which is intolerance against those who believe different from us, right, or racism, right, which we are racist, yo, because our power, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is racist, right? But this resolution is gonna put even more pressure, you know, on the ministry, yo. You know, brothers are gonna be demonized even more, you know, and we're gonna be persecuted, yo, right? As the scriptures foretold, right? This is Isaiah chapter 29 verse 20. It says, "For the terrible one is brought to naught." The terrible one is talking about Esau, the wicked, right? "And the scorner is consumed. All they that watch for iniquity are cut off. That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate." Right? So this resolution is also, you know, a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, which is talking about us, you know, in the highways and the byways, reproving not only the nation but also all 2/3 of our people, yo. Right? Well, all of our people, but only the third will listen to that reproof. Right? So they have laid a snare, which is a trap for him that reproveth in the gate, calling us you know, anti-Semites, which we are proudly, right? Calling us bigots, you know, calling us a hate group, you know, which Yahweh Shem Yahushai hates, the God of the Bible hates, right? And he hates you, Edomites, yo. Right? You so-called Jews, you so-called European, you so-called white people, which you're not white, you're red, right? You're the red man, you know. Yahweh Shem Yahushai hates you, yo. And we can get that from the scriptures, yo. Malachi chapter 1. This is Malachi chapter 1 and starting verse, you know, verse 1. It says, "The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi, I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Esau, yet I loved Jacob, Salakia. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness." Is not that racism, yo? Right? Is this not preference of one race? Because Jacob is a race, right? Is not that this preference of one race against another, right? This is racism, yo. This is hate speech. This is what they call bigotry. This is what they call anti-Semitism, yo. Right? And again, this is Isaiah chapter 43, showing you again that there's a divide between the nations, yo. This is Isaiah 43 verse 3. "Behold, for I am the Lord thy power, Yahweh, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Sheba for thee, since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life." So that means that these men who are giving up for us, are people that are giving up for our life, are not equal to us, yo. In the balance, their lives are not weighed equal to us, yo. Right? So that this is an example of what they call anti-Semitism, yo, or racism. Right? It says, "Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed, thy race, from the east, and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the end of the earth. Everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him." Right? "Let all the nations be gathered together. Let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show the form of things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, it is truth." Right? Let's get back to Isaiah chapter 29 verse 21. Right? It says, "That make a man an offender for a word." What word? This word that we're preaching, yo. Right? That the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right? And that he will be punished for the evil deeds that he keeps perpetuating on the earth, yo. Primarily for the slavery and the atrocities committed against our people, yo, the so-called Negroes, Latinas, Native American Indians, which are the true descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who are the true Israelites, yo. Right? That lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. Right? This is Mark chapter 13 verse 9. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogue shall ye be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers, before kings, for a testimony against them. Because we're testifying against these nations, yo. Right? And against that so-called Jewish state, yo. Right? We're testifying against them, yo. That they're going to be destroyed by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and that the Lord is not with them, yo. And that they are not the true Jews, yo. And the gospel must first be published among the nations. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what ye shall speak, neither do ye premeditate. But whatsoever shall be given you in the hour that ye shall speak, for it is not ye that speak, but the Holy Spirit. Nor the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father his son, and the children shall rise against their parents and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Right? It says brother shall betray brother to death. Right? Your family is gonna offer you up, yo. Your family is gonna offer you up. Right? And he shall be hated for all men's sake, for all men for my name's sake, yo. Right? So that's pretty much what I wanted to bring out, you know, from this, you know, this new legislation condemning, you know, bigotry, based on the comment by this Republican congresswoman, you know. So with that, again, call Allah Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Bashem Kodash for giving me the spirit to this lesson. You know, hopefully brothers, you know, were edified. Shalom.